Hello everybody, this is Gold League Gamer 1 and Dyne, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VI.
It is time to enter Kefka's domain, which also happens to be the name of the official soundtrack for this. It's 3 discs long and cost $100 back in the day.
Wait, so Kefka, you'd pay a fortune for your own soundtrack?
No, I sold it at that price and people still bought it. In fact, that was actually the first game OST I ever bought.
Well,
back, I don't remember if it was in the Nintendo Power catalog, but yeah, I bought the Final Fantasy Kefka's Domain soundtrack and a Secret of Mana t-shirt.
Yeah, I wonder how much that would go for at the Jador auction house.
Who knows? Of course, if it was some kind of toy, the rich man would buy it for his kid at an extremely inflated price. Okay, leaving Shadow and Setzer behind.
Yeah, they don't seem much of much help during this dungeon, so I left them alone.
But there's actually a cutscene that actually got omitted because GoldenEye did some off-screen preparation on here earlier to talk about what everyone was equipped with and relics. It was basically they were talking about how it was time to enter Kefka's domain and defeat him. And they brought up the question, if the statues are destroyed, magic and espers will cease to exist. And someone then asked the question, what's going to happen to Terra? So, coronet, that is a useful piece of headgear for the females, if I remember correctly. And, of course, Mog cannot equip that. Yeah, take off the Moogle charm if you want to do some fighting in here.
Well, yeah, I only do that because I want to get at least more experience points so I can be more prepared for the Kefka fight.
Yeah, I actually recommend an absolute minimum level of 40 for this dungeon, and hopefully be 45 or even upwards of 50 to handle the final boss. And we have the Great Behemoth, Great Baldro,
okay.
And the Vector.
Alright, so I do have a few allies that are under level currently.
Yep. That realm is healing the evil Oscar, so have her attack someone else. And insta-kill from Locke.
Yeah, but these guys are going to be a pretty strong team, so at least a couple of these guys should be first in line for the final fight.
Yep, and of course, I actually highly recommend Edgar and whoever you give the offering to as your main fighters. Because Edgar has his tools that will deal out a ton of damage.
Oh, in that case, I may switch out the offering to somebody else before the final fight. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that.
Yep, because whoever has the offering again will attack 4 times, and unfortunately you never got a Genji glove because you missed all 3 opportunities to get one, and you can only get 1 at this point. That was way back. That's way back in the cave where you get Umaro, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm hoping one thing we see is Celeste get to utilize how cool the scimitar can be, since she's equipped with that. Just have to wait and see. Nope, not quite. I thought it was going to trigger. And keep at it. Yeah, most of the enemies in here aren't that bad. There are 2 that can be particularly dangerous. And they are the Ahriman, which unfortunately I don't remember the name of what they call them in this translation. They're a classic Final Fantasy enemy. And the other is the Veteran. The Veteran is actually a very good rage for Gao to learn, but when you kill one, it likes to kill you in retaliation. And there's almost no way to defend against it, unfortunately. And as you come through here, you're going to basically switch to one team. They'll hit a dead end, switch to another, they'll open the way forward, and then hit their dead end. The third group will have to open the way for the second one, and so on. So it's basically, this is a very extended version of the Phoenix Cave, and this is the longest dungeon in the game as a result.
Yeah, but Group 3 will have the opportunity to save.
Yes. And if you utilize that glitch I told you about in the Phoenix Cave, you can heal up with anyone once they get to a save point.
Oh, man. Well, it's too late to go back there now if I haven't found it already.
come on, Scimitar. Use the cleave ability.
Scimitar?
Yep, the weapon that Celeste is equipped with.
Oh.
Because it will randomly kill an enemy, and it's the only way that an insta-kill works on an undead without bringing it back to life. Because for most insta-kill abilities, if you hit an undead with it, they'll just come back to life. Oh, Sourmouth, aka Bad Breath. In this version, it will hit one person with a whole bunch of status ailments. In later Final Fantasies, it hits everybody with a whole bunch of status ailments. I think they started that in Final Fantasy VII. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell who they're aiming for, but okay, definitely Celeste in that case. But those two with the remedy, they'll be all better with everything. And they're still blind and poisoned, unfortunately. And as for being blind, doesn't matter. The bug is still in effect. And Celeste doesn't know remedy.
Yep.
Heal up. And it's actually better if you're going to cast remedy on him. Use it first because that'll cure everything at once.
You know, it's too bad X Ether can't be bought at any item shop.
Nope.
That would have been a big help.
Okay, first team has hit their dead end.
My guess is the creators decided if X Ether could be bought, then that would make the game too easy.
Well, in some cases you can buy him, and yes, it does make the game fairly easy. Unfortunately, no one in here has sprint shoes equipped, so it's going to be a little bit of a slow.
Well, I only have one pair of sprint shoes.
You can buy more. Several accessories I recommended can be bought in various shops.
Yeah, well, can relics be won in battle?
Some can, yes, because when you fought Kefka in the battle in Dar, she dropped a peace ring. I don't know if I have a whole lot of regular enemies that drop them. But oh wait, I take that back. There are enemies way back in Mount Colts that will drop the star pendant, which protects against poison.
Okay.
So yes, you can drop up relics from regular battles.
Okay.
Oh, Life Shaver. Goodbye, Terra.
Because I know there are some items that can't be bought, but you can earn them in battle.
Yep. But several common relics like sprint shoes and even Zephyr capes can be bought in Nikaya.
That was the one time I didn't backtrack to.
Yeah, Edgar is equipped with the Pearl Lance, which will randomly cast Holy when used as a weapon. I actually recommend you give that to Mog, because he's more likely to do regular attacks than Edgar, but I'm not the one playing this. Yeah, bring Terra back to life. She's a little bit more useful in battle than Strago is, unfortunately.
Yes. Strago doesn't seem to be much help, though.
Well, he's a magician, but if you haven't taught him any magic, he's kind of worthless. Oh, goodbye again, Terra.
Yeah, this almost makes reviving allies pointless.
Well, at this point, the game expects you to know life too, at the very least, so you can bring him back at full health.
Well, not every Esper has that.
Oh, Starlet and Phoenix do, so.
And Realm has Starlet.
Yep. So, and if she's learned everything from Starlet, definitely want to give it to somebody else.
Wait. Do you recommend I constantly switch out relics?
Switch out Espers, because if a character learns every spell that an Esper has to offer, there's no point in keeping them with that Esper. They need to learn all the magic they can.
Oh, so just when you get a chance, switch them out.
Of course.
Okay, I didn't think of that when I was recording earlier today.
Yeah, the best thing to do after someone's learned all the spells from an Esper, there isn't much point in them equipping that Esper unless you want to summon them in battle, or if you want to utilize their level up bonuses. Because the Esper magic system on this is heavily customizable. Unfortunately, you do have to take the time to use it properly. And Guy was thankfully able to absorb that. And survived to win the day.
Yep.
Alright, heal up. Continue on.
Ooh, and looks like Terra's almost out of MP.
Yep, I didn't see what she was using it all on.
Wait, how come you can't use Mega Elixir? Can that only be used in battle?
Yes, and you don't want to use it out of battle. Using it out of battle is pretty much a waste. And there's a chest on the left. Yeah, she's got probably the best combination she can have right now. So, especially the gold hairpin, of course, cuts MP cost in half, and used in conjunction with the gem box, it really saves MP. Minerva, that is a piece of armor for women.
So Terra can wear that.
Yep. Or it's either a piece of armor or a weapon.
So basically, yeah, it's used for Terra, Celis, or Realm.
Yep. Yeah, raises MP by a quarter.
Oh, okay, I take it back. Realm can't use it.
Okay, I was wrong. So, that just raised her MP cost, made her immune to half the elements. And that whale is super annoying. Yeah, we just fought two of these guys. Yeah, these are the kind of enemies you want to... If you have Edgar's Air Anchor, which is hidden in the Tower of Fanatics, it's a good thing to use against enemies like this. Because basically, you shoot them, and then if they take any other action, they instantly die. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't work on every enemy, but for a lot of tougher enemies, it does work, thankfully. You just have to kind of find out which ones it works for and which ones it doesn't. And here's an example of how the gem box works nicely, because you can cast life and then cast Cure 2 or Cure 3 on everybody.
I should take that in consideration. That might come in handy.
Very handy. Oh, Edgar. His True Knight costume protects Strago, and unfortunately, he could not tank that. And so X Magic, yeah, the downside is you have to cast two spells. You can't cast just one. And goodbye, Strago. Yeah, we'll probably survive this, just barely. Oh, goodbye, Terra. Oh, no, she survived that. Barely survived that one. Okay, one down.
Yep.
Guess it's gonna be a close battle. Oh, goodbye, Gao. Riot Blade. Okay, we finally saw a limit break. So if a character is close to death and you do an attack command, they will likely unleash their super powerful skill like that. So you got incredibly lucky. Yep, Strago does not know any healing abilities.
Yeah, I think I should give him a different Esper.
Once he finishes the current one, yes. And I don't know if I've mentioned this on videos before, but the best place to grind magic points is in the desert south of Miranda.
Oh yeah, I think we talked about that.
Okay, I don't remember if it was on camera or off camera.
Yeah, it's that one enemy called Hoover.
Actually, no, it's the Cactar or Cactron. Yeah, you have the two enemies in there. The Hoover has about 10,000 HP. If you hit it with Edgar's Air Anchor, it's basically instantly dead. The Cactrot only has 4 HP, but you must hit it with a defense-piercing attack like Edgar's Drill or Saban's Pummel, or whoever has an offering can hit it and it'll die. But you'll always get 10 magic points from Cactrots and 5 from Hoovers. And unfortunately, these evil Oscars absorb Holy, so Edgar's doing double healing duty on these guys.
Okay.
Definitely best to stick with tools for him on that one. Let's see if these guys can be confused. Oh, all three of them. No, Edgar, don't attack. You're healing them. I don't really need to heal everyone right now. They're still doing well. Just finish off that first one. And Gal, you missed. One down. Now, if any one of these guys uses Sour Mouth, Striga will learn that. Yep. Edgar's doing regular attacks again. Oh, there we go. Striga will learn it. Even if it's not used on him. And actually going back into that at Final Fantasy Relay Marathon, it was really funny how they would do speed runs through Final Fantasy V, because they would, as they describe it, kill enemies with math. Because there are skills in there where you can manipulate an enemy's level and then make it susceptible to level 5 death and kill it that way. Unfortunately, learning level 5 death in that game is very hard, because the person has to be hit by it and they have to be revived. It has to work on them, and they have to be revived in order to learn it. But once you get it for one character, everybody learns it. Slightly obscured is there's that as not this area. Oh jeez, more of these guys. Yeah, you kind of have three segments of this whole dungeon. You have the outdoor areas where you'll run into these types of enemies. The indoor areas, which has different sets, often for different parties actually, and kind of the third final area around where everybody meets, and the enemies do kind of be the same for all three parties on there.
Alright.
Yeah, ton of enemies in here. Again, the longest dungeon in the game, most enemy variety, and if you run into all of them at least once, of course, you can take the time to have Gal learn rages from them. Thankfully, this dungeon, as long as it is, you can still cast Warp to get out. And Terra did not really need to morph, but hey, double damage.
Yeah.
Or double stats at least, not necessarily double damage. Down they go. But yeah, those guys are probably a lot easier to deal with than two Brontars. Taxstar, that is the best thing that Shadow can throw in the game. Usually does a full 9999 damage. But Shadow's not in the party, so can't do too much.
Yeah, like I said, I thought Shadow would be useless here.
No, he's actually really good. All in all, unless you take the time to build them up, the ones who I would actually recommend leaving behind are Strago and Realm, just because you get them so late. And there's actually a boss right up there.
Yeah, I know about that, but and I tried doing it off camera or in an older version of this recording, but since I lost, I didn't want to replicate that in a later video, so I just passed it up.
Yeah, but when you defeat him, a save point will appear.
Ah.
And that is Ultima, but I do not remember what you get for defeating him.
Man, well, if I actually had defeated him on my first try, that would have been nice to know.
Yeah, you have several bosses in this dungeon, and usually when you defeat them, a save point will appear. If you take the right path, you'll circle back around to where you got the Taxstar, in order to try and fight the boss again, get to the save point, or head back to the entrance. I love these enemy names. Iron Hitman. He's Iron Man turned in Mafia. He'll kill anyone for the right price, even though he's got a green face.
Tech Laser, that works like the wall ring, doesn't it?
Nope, that is an old ability seen from early bosses in the game, actually.
Because spoiler alert, there's a mini boss coming up that actually uses tech laser.
Yep, but it will pierce through the wall ring. And Discord, we got to see what it did. It halved Gao's level for the duration of the battle, but once the battle's over, it goes back to normal, and it is something that Strago can learn.
Hey, wait. I reached point. Discord. That name sounds familiar.
It's used fairly often in conversation too.
Oh.
Okay, so coming out here, and I don't know why they put those searchlights in other than for visual effect, because nothing happens if you walk into them. They're just there. And these guys again. I think you've run into every enemy you can run into in this segment. Yeah, the room you're next to right now is where you want to go into, because that'll let Group 1 continue onward. Has the switch you need in there.
Yeah, how many enemies are hidden behind Vector?
It depends, because if you run into a battle with just Vector, you'll run into 4 of them, but they're all their sprite is all in the same spot, so it looks like you're not killing any, but no, they're just 4 literally stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, but it seems so many, but even though only 1 is visible.
Yeah, but again, that's only in a battle if you run into just Vector and nothing else. And the Great Oscar's confused. Unfortunately, it will not get a chance to attack. Well, he died. Goodbye, Vector. Haymaker. Good block, Gao.
And Giant Behemoth is next.
Yep. Giant Behemoth or Great Behemoth. I don't exactly know what it was shortened to from, but it's usually... they usually have greats, like Great Behemoth, Great Marlboro. That's just the naming conventions. Hit it with ice. Oh, thought I was going to finish it off. It usually uses Haymaker as a last-ditch effort. And it could be worse, because in later games, behemoths usually cast Meteor when they die. This guy just did a physical attack. Not level ups for people. Yeah, he still doesn't know anything. Edgar knows Cure 2, though. I don't know if Jake knows any magic.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, maybe. I'm not entirely certain.
Because you can teach him magic, but unfortunately, once you use Rage, he'll be unavailable for the rest of the battle. Okay, so treasure chest and the switch to let Team 1 continue forward. And away they go. Now, one thing I need to double check. This is the ruins of the room where you can get the break blade back in the world of balance. I don't know if it's still in there or not.
Yeah. Hey, that's another familiar name, Prometheus.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a guy that in Hercules and the Golden Apples got chained by Zeus.
Yep. He is a figure in Greek mythology who brought fire to mankind, and that was such a great crime that Zeus granted him immortality, but chained him to a rock for birds to eat his entrails every day.
Wow.
Yeah, Zeus was kind of a jerk. And
yeah.
Actually, if you play the DS RPG Glory of Heracles, rescuing Prometheus is actually one of the quests in it.
Oh.
Because his wife becomes a party member. Well, that's kind of a spoiler, but oh well. Unfortunately, it's a fairly obscure RPG. Not a lot of people played it. But it's actually really good. Standard healing and maintenance. Makes a good party run smoothly. Oh, that was only, what, 2 steps? We just killed you! How'd you come back to life?
The game can be a troll sometimes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's actually a trick in Final Fantasy V where their routes were so carefully planned. They knew how many steps they'd have to go before they'd run into a battle, and then just use a quick trick in order to avoid it.
Yeah, sometimes I feel the game must be rigged.
Now, sometimes it does feel that way. Like on Final Fantasy V, if you open the menu and then leave, the random encounter counter resets. So if you just take like 2 or 3 steps and then enter the menu and go back out, you can avoid fights, which helps you go through areas you're not supposed to go through at the moment and get some good stuff. And I think that also includes the Gill Cave in the second act of the game. There's a super hard boss in there, but if you can avoid it, you'll get very rich. This guy should go down in a few more attacks. Unfortunately, Celestial has not cleaved anything in half. I should explain this. The Scimitar, again, has that instant kill capability, and it's basically a light version of Kyan's best sword technique, where he'll...
Is it me, or did I just hear a dog about a few seconds ago?
I didn't hear anything on my end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Kyan's best sword technique, his 8th one, has the potential to just slice everything in battle in half. There are enemies that are immune to it, but it's really cool to see executed. And to come out this way should be... okay. Another dead end. Group 3 has to examine that glowing treasure chest to allow them to continue onward. Speaking of treasure, there's one right there. Ribbon. Again, the relic that makes anyone immune to every status element in the game except for Condemned. And nothing else you can do in here. See what Team 3 can do. And yeah, I think Kyan could have better armor right now because he just has diamond stuff.
Until next time, this is Gold Glee Gamer 1 and Dyne. Later, folks.
Bye, guys.